What's up, Jesse? Here with another video for Matt Naps. Today we're going to be talking about the Norma Dumont versus Felicia Spencer fight and the Jared Vanderaa versus Justin Tafa fight. So first off, we got Norma Dumont beating Felicia Spencer via split decision. I agree with the decision to a certain extent. I don't understand why it was a split. I thought it was pretty clear. First round was Felicia Spencer. The next two rounds were Norma. When it was on the feet, pretty even. Felicia's got a very good taekwondo. She's able to get some of those sneaky kicks in there. Dumont tended to have the better boxing, a little bit sharper Muay Thai. She kind of has a more Muay Thai style. And once it hit the ground, Dumont pretty much dominated there. And, that was pretty much how I saw the fight. I thought it was 2-1, pretty clear. So I'm not sure. One judge had it 30-27 for Dumont, which I don't understand. The other judge had it 29-28 for Spencer, which I also don't understand. The one judge had it right, 29-28 Dumont. That's the perfect score. So I don't understand how it was a split decision, and I don't understand how one of those judges had it for 3 rounds to Dumont, but it is what it is. What's next for these girls? I mean, Dumont's probably going to fight for the title next. She's only lost to Megan Anderson. She just beat the girl who just came off of a title loss. There's not really many girls at 145 for Amanda Nunes to fight. I think she's probably going to get the next title shot. Is she ready? Probably not. I don't think she'll beat Amanda Nunes. She got knocked out by Megan Anderson, who lost to Amanda Nunes. But with the state of the division, they really need to bring in more contenders. They just had the Ultimate Fighter Heavy Hitters or whatever it was called. It was the last season or second to last season of the Ultimate Fighter. And they brought in a bunch of 145-pounders, but like half those girls, the 2 top girls, I think 3 out of the 4 top girls dropped down to 135 pounds after. It seems a lot of these girls don't want to fight at 145 pounds, which, to be honest, I don't really understand. The girl at top of both divisions is the same, so no matter what, you got to fight Amanda Nunes. And at 45, your path's way easier. There's not much competition at 45. So if you're one of those girls that can move up to 45, it's probably a good opportunity. So, but everyone seems to be avoiding 35. Even Dumont tried to go to 35. She couldn't make weight. She weighed in 139 pounds. So she got pushed back up to featherweight. She's only ever fought at 35 once in her career, which was her first fight. I think ever since then... she's fought there 3 times, sorry. She's 3-0 at 135, but she 4-0 if you count the 2 times she... 5-0, sorry, if you count the 2 times she missed weight. I think, right now she's kind of earned that number 1 contender spot just because the division's so thin. So I'm guessing she'll be the next title defense for Amanda Nunes, but... I really don't see her beating Nunes. I think she's got to fight. She probably should fight another top girl first, but just because of how thin that division is, I think they'll throw her against Nunes first, and then, they really just need to start bringing in more girls to fill up that division. That's kind of the problem she's in right now. She's too big to make 35, and she's probably not going to beat Nunes yet, but we'll see. As for Felicia Spencer, who obviously was the loser of that fight, she's only lost to Cyborg, Nunes, and now Dumont, and this one was, split decision. I thought it was a pretty obvious decision, but it was a split decision. Still one of the top girls in the division, probably the number 3 or 4 girl in the division. If you count Home and some of those other girls as well, then, she's maybe 5th or 6th. But Home seems to want to fight at 35. Dramamine seems to want to fight at 35. Cyborg's gone. So, there's only really Megan Anderson's probably the clear number 2 girl behind Nunes right now, if you don't count Home and Durandamy. And then after that, it's probably Dumont because she just won, and then Felicia Spencer. So, Felicia's still only 1 or 2 wins away from getting another title shot at Nunes. She was able to last with Nunes, which not many girls can say. She was able to last with Cyborg, too. She's never been finished. Very tough girl, very good striking. She actually beat Megan Anderson via rear naked choke before she fought Cyborg for the title. She is right up there. It'll be interesting to see. Megan's, she lost to Spencer, but that should be Dumont. So, those 3 girls are all kind of right around the same spot. Be interesting to see. Next fight for her Probably Megan, I guess, is probably the best bet. They both, Spence is coming off of a loss to Dumont, before that to Nunes. Megan's coming off a win over Dumont, and after that a loss to Nunes. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where those girls go. But yeah, the 45, they're starting to finally fill it up, thankfully. And then moving on to the heavyweight division, we had the big boys, Jared Vanderaa versus Justin Tafa. Pretty one-sided fight. I felt like the commentary was kind of, they were really trying to sell Tafa. Even in, especially the first round, it felt like everything Tafa did, they were blowing out of proportion, and then Vanderaa, who was clearly getting the better of the event, they were kind of just dismissing. I thought, the judges were pretty good on this one. Two of them had 30-27, the one had 29-28. He must have been listening to fucking Rogan and them or something. Or I guess Rogan wasn't there, but he must have been listening to the commentary or something. But yeah, all in all, it was the commentary was pretty bad on this one, but I thought the fight was pretty good. I thought it was pretty one-sided. Tafa didn't really do anything other than the cut. Which that did look bad, but once the corner got it cleaned up, you could see that it really wasn't that bad. It was just a lot of blood coming out of it. But other than that, it was a pretty one-sided affair. Vanderaa is obviously quite a bit bigger. I think Tafa's only 6 foot. Vanderaa is 6'4". They're both 265, but they're obviously much different build. Vanderaa is a guy who probably should be 250. He's a little bit overweight. Tafa's a guy who probably should be a light heavyweight or a middleweight. He's way overweight. And I think that was kind of the problem. Is Tafa thinks he's Mark Hunt. He obviously comes from a really strong family. Very high pedigree. His 3 brothers. His grandfather's national boxing champion. All 3 of his brothers have also fought professionally. And Junior Tafa is a top-ranked heavyweight in Glory. So I think the problem is he thinks he's Mark Hunt, but really his brother's Mark Hunt. Junior's 21-5 in kickboxing, 0-1 in boxing, or 0-1 in boxing. So, his brother is definitely, in my opinion, the better fighter of the two. But for some reason, they seem to be marketing him, probably because he came over to MMA. But yeah, they were really trying to market him as Mark Hunt, but I don't really see it. Mark Hunt obviously had, that 10-9 record or whatever it was. But if you look at who Mark Hunt was fighting, right from his first fight, he was fighting top 10 guys, right? He very much had that Brock Lesnar-esque jump right to the top of the deep, into the deep end where, he was fighting top guys. I don't really see the same thing with Tafa. I doubt they'll cut him off this fight. 1, because Dana White seems to really like him. 2, he's one of the top heavyweights out of OCE just because it's such a thin area. There's only... basically, there's just 2 countries, right? If you don't count the states, because obviously the states is a bunch of Hawaii and American Samoa and all that. But if you're not counting the Americans, there's basically just Australia and New Zealand, and then there's a couple islands of 1,000 people each. So by default, he's one of the top heavyweights out of OCE. So I doubt they'll cut him because he's one of the best guys in the continent. Just coming off fight of the night. And yeah, the Danish really seems to be hot on him. But one more loss, I think he's gone. He's 4-3 right now. He's 1-3 in the UFC. The only man he's beat is Juan Adams, who a very big guy, but not the best record. Juan Adams has only beat Jeremy Hardy. He lost to Aaron Bolar. He lost to Greg Hardy. He lost to Tafa. He's 2-3 in the UFC. So the win he has is over another guy with a losing record, which is not impressive. I expect that, unfortunately, unless he gets his shit together, he will probably be gone soon. As for Vanderaa, if he is 1-1 in the UFC, 2-1 if you count his win on the Contender Series. He has a win over Tony Lopez, which is actually pretty impressive. Tony Lopez, for a long time, was one of the best heavyweights outside the UFC. He has a win over Ruan Potts, who is a former UFC heavyweight, also former EFC heavyweight champion. So he does have some good wins. Do I think he'll stay around? I'm not sure. He doesn't seem to use his size very good or very well. He seems to be, even though he is, a heavier guy at the division, he does seem to be carrying around a lot of body fat compared to other guys that are his size. If he cut down to 240, got himself in really, really good shape, 240, 250, lost 15, 20 pounds of fat, I could see him being a top guy like a Stipe Miocic. You know, he seems to have a really good chin. I don't know if he's ever been knocked out. He's been knocked out once. Who knocked him out? Sergey Spivakov. Okay, so that was in his UFC fight. His one UFC loss. So, yeah, I think, you know, very. I don't even know if you can consider him a prospect. He's already got 17 fights. He's 29 years old. To some degree, I guess he kind of is a prospect. He just kind of came into the UFC. I think he right now is currently the top guy out of South Africa. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know what you can really do with this guy. Honestly, the heavyweight division is pretty thin right now. It's pretty wide open. You probably could give him a top 10, 15 guy, and he might give him a good run. You know, heavyweight's kind of hurting right now, other than like the top 3 or 4 guys. So, you know, all in all, it'll be very interesting. I was also kind of surprised this one won the fight of the night. You know, it was a pretty good fight, but I thought Font versus Garbrandt deserved that more. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. New video a couple new videos every week. I won't say new video every day because we don't do a new video every day. And then, yeah, check back tomorrow and we'll break down Esparza versus Jonan and Font versus Garbrandt. See ya.